and help the earth, help the planet. I got AJ, Mr. Arthur here in studio with Hippie Fertilizing. I'm going to kick this on the FM, and then we're going to talk about everything that's going on. Here we go. Good morning. This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. It's just after 9 o'clock on a Friday. It's the weekend, and I got AJ with Hippie Fertilizing here in studio. I'm excited to have him here. We tried to bring him in December. It didn't happen because I wasn't feeling well, but you gave me encouragement. You even gave me some advice. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing fantastic, man.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
So it's Friday. It's pretty much the weekend. I know we got some work to do today, but what do you got planned this weekend? You got some big plans?
Of course. We're kicking off the Clear Creek annual cleanup at the Egret Bay Boat Ramp, otherwise known as 270. That's been an organization for the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation. I don't know if y'all can see this here.
I can see it looks good, yeah.
It's going to be our 23rd annual cleanup. I've been a part of it for like 3 or 4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And honestly, I guess I was a part of it too when I was younger. Like 15 years old, came out there and helped like plant like grasses along the banks to help reduce erosion and stuff.
Okay.
But every year, we go out there, clean up all kinds of stuff. It's nasty. It's fun. We get out on boats, go to areas that you really can't get to from land-based cleanups. So that's a big difference on how we approach the cleanup for Clear Creek with the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation. And, occasionally you might get a mud bath,
Sounds fun, yeah.
And it's happened a few times. So, like, one of the questions we get, too, is why do we do it this time of year? Well, there's no mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are so irritating, right? It's cooler, plus also, like, snakes. There is alligators out there, and it's cold, so they're not active.
Okay.
So don't worry, y'all. We have not ever had a problem with snakes and alligators and stuff like that. However, I have seen a few just chilling on like a limb, trying to get some sunbathing in.
Yeah, just kind of leave them alone, do their thing, right?
Oh, absolutely. Find all kinds of crazy stuff out there.
What do you find?
Dude, last year we pulled out a porta potty.
Of Clear Lake?
Clear Creek, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. And
how does that even happen? One of these windy days? Just kind of gets knocked down
and people build right next to the creek, so it could be super terrible weather. It basically got like washed into there. We also pulled out a hot tub.
A whole hot tub.
A whole hot tub, dude. They've pulled out boats. They've pulled out cars. We pull out all kinds of stuff, but the most prominent thing I think that we pull out is coffee cups.
Coffee cups.
Styrofoam.
Any name brands you want to throw out there?
I'm serious, like McDonald's, Whataburger, and Starbucks cups.
Yeah.
Dude, galore.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of cheap beer cans.
And it's the styrofoam, so it's like going to last forever unless it's pulled out, right?
Basically,
yeah.
It's going to last longer than we are. That's for sure.
Wow. So this starts this weekend. The Clear Creek Environmental Foundation is hosting and putting on the 23rd annual Clear Creek Cleanup. It starts this weekend, and it goes till February the 20th, every weekend, right?
Correct, unless we have bad weather, right? If it's super raining real bad, we're not going to be out there. Like last year, it almost seemed like it was going to rain us out on multiple occasions, and I would be like doing a no-rain dance.
Yeah.
And the sun would come out, the weather would clear up, and we'd have a fantastic, successful day.
Okay. So what do y'all need? Do y'all need volunteers? Do you need money? Do you need boats? What do y'all need?
We need people. We need hands on deck, right? We need people that want to go out there and get a little dirty with us. As one of the ladies might say, come and get trashy with us. So if you are inclined to come, it's highly encouraged that you have rubber boots, gloves, have a mask. In fact, let me see, I have one right here. For those of us, for those who are viewing the live.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess they call them a buff. There's a few different names. I don't know the actual technical name.
Yeah.
I just happen to have one for my own Hippie Fertilizing. But this thing is way more comfortable than, say, like one of those I don't know, medical looking mask things.
Yeah.
But these things will be provided as well, but it's just encouraged to have your own.
Okay. That's cool. And that's going to be this weekend. You can go to the social media pages, the Facebook of the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation, and find out more information. There's also a phone number. If you're watching on Facebook, you can see in the description of this video, there's a phone number there as well. So you can call if you want to volunteer, find out more information. Maybe you have some resources or ideas, and you can get involved. So, AJ, you know, how's it been? So you have a business. Can you tell me about the business, what the name is, and then what do y'all do?
Oh, my business is Hippie Fertilizing, right? All I do is organic fertilizing, support soil biology, give people an actual better, safer alternative to chemical lawn care, right? I have 2 rules. Number 1, if I can't touch it with my bare hands, I don't want to use it. Number 2, it must support soil biology. So if it doesn't feed microbes and fungi and support the soil food web, I don't like to use it. Because really, it's not about feeding grass or plants. It's about supporting soil biology so the soil can feed the grass and the plants.
Yeah. Soil biology. See, yes. I didn't take that class in school. They didn't teach it. Should they?
Oh, absolutely they should. Soil is like more important than oil. I know. That's like hard to say.
It's backwards
right?
Here in the area. I was like, Houston didn't teach me that, right?
Right. I mean, they have things in common, right? They both need to have a lot of carbon, right? Except oil's like hydrocarbons. Soil's just lots of different carbons and different stuff. So one thing I love about it, and something that we experience often, like what's one of the biggest issues like the Houston area has?
Pollution.
Well, that is definitely
traffic.
True. Also true.
Flooding.
Yes, thank you.
It was number 3.
That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
So healthy soils reduce flooding because they're able to absorb more water. A healthy lawn can absorb like 6 times more water than non-healthy soil.
Really?
Absolutely.
I wonder if that happens to our body too. Like if you're just like not healthy and you're drinking water and it's just like, I guess with nutrients, you know, if you're feeding your body and it's just like, I don't know.
So of course, you know, if anyone's out there watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say maybe with water, like not having proper electrolytes with water would make it less effective, right? Because no matter what, you need all these biochemical processes happening, and those happen with electrolytes. And really, soil's the same way, right? One of the components I use a lot is molasses. So molasses has like calcium, magnesium, potassium, manganese, iron. Iron's super critical for more things than just greening grass. And so it helps things function almost like electrolytes in your body.
Okay. Whenever you talk to people and tell them, I'm going to be putting molasses on your lawn, is there any resistance or hesitation at times?
They do often look at me like I'm nuts. Right, but at the same time, they're like, well, I tried everything else. Go ahead. Go for it.
Yeah. Just got to make it. If it works, it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what areas do you usually service? Like, what's your boundaries?
Really, I service all over, like the Houston to Galveston area, but primarily my main service area is, I'd say probably like a 10-mile radius around League City. You know, League City, Friendswood, Webster, come down here to Little Mark. I've done quite a bit over in this little like neighborhood called Seacrest and that Lagomar area. Yeah. Right. So all over, but definitely primarily like League City is of course where I'm based out of. So that's where I'm gonna provide most services.
You grew up in League City, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. League City, Dickinson, Friendswood, Seabrook, the whole area, dude.
Yeah. So with the growth that's taken place in this area and additions, you know, a lot of them are great. But I feel like it's really important for us to be taking care of the environment.
Oh, absolutely. Right? We all breathe air. We drink water. We share the air, right? Not only do we do that, this is every home, every place, and this is why I love Clear Creek Environmental Foundation, is because I look at the creek and these parks and these natural areas as our own backyard, right? It's a shared community backyard. And I want to take care of it, and we should take care of our own yards as micro ecosystems, right? Because People love to watch birds, right? We love bees. We love butterflies. Most of us love little lizards and frogs. I know some people get real freaked out about it.
Okay, here's something. You mentioned lizards. There was a ton of lizards this year, at least in my neighborhood close to my house. I live in League City. Is there a reason for that, or did you notice that as you were out servicing the area?
I have noticed a lot, and actually what we're getting a lot of is, I think they're called Cuban anoles, the dark-colored ones, and they're an invasive species. So they came in about 30 years ago, and the cool thing about this is the green anoles that we're used to seeing.
Yeah.
The Cuban anoles, the black-colored ones or the dark-colored ones, they're more aggressive, so they push the green ones up. And over just a 30-year period of time, the green ones have developed, like I want to say like stickier feet. I don't know the proper term for it, but their little pads on their little feet have gotten stickier so that they can hang out higher, easier.
Because to avoid the darker one, the brown ones or whatever.
Right.
Ain't that something?
Right?
Yeah. Because I'll see them. I've seen the green ones, and they'll be like up on the stinking, outside of my house in the front. There's like a little awning right there, and they're just like climbing on the wall. I'm like, why is there lizards everywhere? And I guess they're good. It's all part of the environment, I suppose, right?
Oh, they are. I've been at customers' houses, and we'll just be talking, and I'll watch them. I've watched them like eat ants.
Yeah.
And eat little bugs. So I mean, they're like a part of nature's pest control. We need them.
Yeah.
They're a part of the soil food web. We need them for that. And so they definitely have their function. So if you are one of those people, please don't get freaked out and try and kill them. Okay, they're not trying to hurt you.
Yeah. Yeah, get rid of all the lizards.
One of the coolest things that I think happened in my years of working outside, I've picked up a little baby lizard egg. And I didn't know what it was at first, but I felt it. It's real soft. This sucker popped open. That lizard literally hopped off my finger and ran off. I'm not even kidding.
So, you didn't think you were his mom?
No,
like that?
No. But I'm kind of glad. I wouldn't have wanted to take it home and try and find little ants for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're just tuning in, it's 9:27. This is KHEARadio.com, 99.5 FM. It's Kickstart. My name is Gardy. If you're watching on social media, thank you. Feel free to share this out. If you're listening on 99.5 FM, hey, it's Friday. It's the weekend. I'm talking to AJ with Hippie Fertilizing, based in the League City area, but also works around Galveston County. So, okay, Hippie Fertilizing. How long have you been in business, and what is the overall goal?
So this 2021 will be the 4th year of Hippie Fertilizing. We got 3 down. Despite all the craziness, last year was actually pretty good. Great learning curves. And what's our goal? Our goal is to help people have really awesome lawns, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you don't have to wait 24 hours to go walk on at any time ever.
Or play in.
Or play in.
Yeah.
And we want to have a truly positive impact on our environment. We want to be able to educate our customers, our followers, everybody on better practices, because there's lots of stuff out there, and there's lots of misinformation, and there's lots of products, lots of treatment options. And I say it like that because I have a philosophy. I like to feed it, I don't treat it.
Mm-hmm.
Like fungus issues. Oh, well, I need a fungicide. No, you don't. You need to feed the good stuff to kill off the bad stuff. It's more effective long term. Or killing weeds. I don't like to look at them as weeds. I look at them as plants. It's usually not people's favorite part of what I say, but weeds are an indication of imbalances in your soil. And so if you can correct them, then you'll have less weeds. And then also sometimes they're just seasonal. You can't expect your lawn to look the same way in December and January as you would in August. So if you treat it drastically different, you really can set yourself up for disaster in the hottest part of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now, it's, in the colder months, it's our winter time. It's not that cold, but today it is at least a little bit.
Yeah.
What should people be doing during this season in their lawns?
So, like this season and any season, number one, if you're not already, start using something that's natural, right? So, because you can always be supporting soil biology. Our grass may go dormant, but your soil doesn't. So you can start essentially boosting your microbes, boosting that biology in the soil. However, one of the best things to go to for any time of year is Humates Plus. Okay? Humates Plus, they're bust, right? Because that stuff will green up your lawn. It helps improve soil structure. It helps open up your clay soils. It adds a little bit of iron to green things up, and I know that's important to everybody. And it adds a lot of nitrogen-fixing bacteria. One of the most abundant like nutrients in the entire world, because it's like, what, 78% of the air we breathe. Bacteria can make it available to plants. Right?
Cool, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Okay, and I think I mentioned this to you before, just talking about it. Whenever you were talking about, hey, everybody wants their grass to be green. Yeah, I do. I definitely want my grass to be like the greenest on the street, right?
Right.
So much that at one time, it wasn't last year, maybe not even the year before, maybe the year before. But like, you know how you'll see people, I Googled how they would like spray the grass. You see how many people, they'll just like paint it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like super green.
Yeah.
And sometimes it looks kind of good.
Yeah.
That's not good for the soil though, I assume.
Most likely not. I haven't dug into those products too much.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of painting grass unless I'm painting it with hippie juice, y'all.
Yeah. Painted with some molasses, right?
That's right.
What is hippie juice?
Hippie juice primarily is comprised of humic acid and molasses. Humic acid adds tons of minerals. It's a microbial food for fungi, and it helps like on a very tiny level break up clay particles, right? And I want to say, like, ionically, it helps balance everything out, because a lot of times you have tons of nutrients in the soil, but they're locked up based on, like, essentially like their electrical charges. And so humic acid helps balance that out, right? And both things together, of course, feed bacteria, feed fungi, add bioavailable usable minerals. So you can add iron, you can add nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, the list goes on. But it doesn't matter if it's not being utilized by essentially the soil food web to be given to your plants in a proper way. Okay? And sure, we can add nitrogen and all those other things, and it'll have some impact, but long term it can really lock things up and create what I like to call like a chemical compaction.
Okay.
Okay, like in your chemical fertilizers, you have loads of salt. Well, salt causes clay to bind together tighter. So that first year you used all your chemical fertilizers, you're like, man, this schedule works.
It works?
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Brown patch is terrible this year, man. Well, you know, that's a thing, and it can make that worse. But then also over the years, it tightens up your soil and locks everything up. So year number 2, oh, I just have to use more. No, don't do that. Year number 3, it's all going crazy. What do? Spray some molasses on it, pimping.
There you go. Call AJ and Hippie Fertilizing, right?
That's right.
Okay,
Let the juice loose.
Here's another question I have. Okay, so mulch, like, it's just like old like wood, isn't it? So I'm thinking like, okay, your grass, if you treat that with natural products and you can put that stuff. What about like your flower beds and some of the other places for plants? And is it good to use mulch? Is there another option? And should you be treating it with the same stuff that you put on your grass?
So in terms of like, let's take it to feeding the flower bed, right? You can use hippie juice, molasses, humic acid, seaweed, for flowering plants.
Yeah.
One of the best things out there is blood meal. Oh my God.
What is that?
Blood meal. Now I don't know how to give you like the best definition, but basically it's like an animal byproduct. All right.
Okay.
Because that blood meal has proteins in it. Proteins are going to break down into forms of nitrogen, but it also has tons of iron, right? And the forms of nitrogen and the way that it feeds the soil and feeds the plant, oh my God, things will burst with blooms. But also, like, just be careful. Don't get too excited with it. Animals do go crazy over it. There's a product called Microlife Ultimate, and the difference between that and other Microlife products is that it has blood meal in it. Dogs will want to go crazy over that stuff.
Okay.
Okay, like giving them a fresh bone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll want to play in it and just like
They'll want
try
to
and eat it?
They'll want to eat it up. So
Wow.
so do be careful. Don't get too excited if you got animals, right? That's why I love Humates Plus. Dogs don't try and eat that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about mulch? Is there a different option, or is mulching okay to use, or something else to use besides that? Because to me, it doesn't seem like it kind of helps the situation. It's just like a fluff or filler.
Well, in a lot of cases, it actually makes it worse. All right, because you have dyed mulches, which is just like cheap construction pine, basically, that's been dyed, and they use that stuff because you can dye it easier.
Okay.
Right? Hardwood mulch is better. Pine bark mulch is good. The best out there is if you can get quality compost. Okay, quality compost as a mulch does work really, really well. And if you just have, like amended, good, healthier soil, it's going to help a lot too. So it's hard. It's really tough. I know lots of people use mulch and like the way it looks. I'm going to say this. You're going to do it anyway. All right? It's just the truth. So turn it. Turn it more often.
Yeah.
Because what happens is if mulch sits for too long, it creates a layer of fungus. And the fungus isn't necessarily bad in and of itself, but it's like hydrophobic. So it creates like an umbrella. And it almost makes it to where like your flower bed soil can't breathe as well, and it can't get water and nutrients.
Yeah.
And if that mulch isn't broken down good enough, it will actually rob your soil of nutrients so that it can go through its decaying process before it'll give it back.
Yeah. I think quality compost makes sense, and that's the way to go. And the reason I think that is because, okay, so at my house, water runs off and it hits like in the flower bed, and that kind of runs and it drains all of this dirt. And so for me, I'm just like, okay, I'm turning up, but I need something else there. There's literally not enough soil because I can see at least a portion of the roots on like this plant here. And I imagine over, last year, I think was the last time I put something on there, is that, it's just gone down with water and rain and everything else going into the street and running into our sewer system and into Clear Creek, where y'all are going to be cleaning it up, this weekend. So it makes sense to put something that's actually going to help cover the roots and help feed the plant, instead of just putting like you said, dyed, pine from a construction place and just kind of expecting that to get nutrients to your plants and your flowers.
Yeah, because it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't at all.
And it looks nice all dyed and cutting, it's the right level and everything, but
when I started back, I've been in the landscape industry 11 years now. I put down more black mulch and red mulch than most people would ever think. Oh, I hate the way it smells and getting all stained up for the day.
Yeah, your hands, your pants, everything.
Right.
You're done. You are done for. So, last year you had mentioned, 2020 for Hippie Fertilizing was okay. Why is that? Or why do you think, and how did the year go?
Well, I'm very blessed and fortunate that I live where I live. So, for us in our area, we're super, super lucky. We really are. But two, I do have a much smaller business. So, like, as long as I'm trucking along doing what I need to do, fluctuations on a greater scale aren't impacting me quite as well. Because fortunately, I'm in, under landscaping and lawn care. So I was one of those essential businesses. That helped out. Oh, my God, I was freaking out, dude. I was like, thank you, God. I'm essential. Seriously.
Yeah. And then just being outside is open air and everything as well.
Absolutely. So while everyone else may be in kind of quarantine mode and stuff like that, fortunately with what I do, I don't really have to be around anybody, right? I'm just out there, headphones in, jamming.
With the lizards.
Right? Butterflies, bees,
Yeah.
Some wasps flying around. They don't freak me out. I really like them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was able to just really stay active, and it helped tremendously.
Yeah. Whenever you were talking about with all the butterflies and all that, it reminded me of Snow White? The one who could communicate with with all the animals and just went around. Man, that's you with the hippie juice.
So the cool thing is, and I even have a few YouTube videos of customers describing this, is that they say after I have been servicing their lawns with my natural fertilizing, that they have never seen the amount of wildlife around their yards as they do after I start spraying their lawns.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the one lady in particular in Clear Lake, she has tons of wildflowers in her little flower beds. And she's like, nothing has ever bloomed like this before, AJ. So whatever you're doing, just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's cool. You know, I see some of the pictures that you put on social media, like before and after, and you mentioned, you know, that testimonial as well. Is there any other stories where you've brought, like, the dead to life again? I've seen pictures.
Oh, man. I don't always remember all the neighborhoods because I work in lots of neighborhoods, but it happens often, right? People will have the big name company for like 3 years, right? AJ, I had this company for 3 years. My lawn just got worse. I come in, do a little hippie lawn restoration package. They're like, how did you do in 4 weeks what they couldn't do in 3 years? My approach is different. You know? Well, feed the soil first, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Simple.
And everything else works out.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, those stories and those results are rather common, and they're about to be even more common, too.
Yeah.
Because I got a little stuff I've been putting together.
You working on some new concoctions?
It's going to be a granular mix.
Okay.
Of like 3 different products that I'm putting together in a specific ratio because I like the different components that are in there, like biological inoculants. And then there is like a synthetic organic fertilizer that I use.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like for y'all who want that really baller green growing grass and you're like, this organic stuff just isn't cutting it, go with Microlife Hybrid. 2005 and it'll make your grass thrive.
So the hybrid is organic and some synthetic that's what the hybrid is?
It's considered a synthetic organic. All right. It's made with what's called a urea methylene nitrogen source. So it's a true slow release. It has to be essentially consumed by microbes to release the larger quantities of nitrogen. But I'm telling you what, that stuff will make grass grow where there was no grass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so that's going to be a part of my concoction, as well as these 2 other products that I know just have like a solid, they work.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm blend them together.
So coming up with these blends and concoctions, do you have people that say, just you can test my lawn or like just play with it, make it work? Or how do you even find these ratios to be able to play with?
So I've tried different things over the years. You know, I'm not a huge fan of a high nitrogen source because I'm a real believer in like get your lawn to feed itself, right? But here we are. The fact of the matter is I got to help produce green, healthy, thick lawns. So adding that specific kind of nitrogen source helps me achieve that goal. So then we can both be happy because I'm doing something that supports soil biology and something better for the environment. And you can be happy because you have an awesome freaking lawn.
Yeah. And everybody wins.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So back to like, let's tie this into, you know, the Clear Creek Environmental Foundation and the cleanup. You know, it's one of the most prevalent things environmentally that fertilizer attributes to. It's eutrophication.
What does that mean?
Eutrophication is the overabundance of nutrients in a body of water, specifically usually tied to nitrogen or phosphorus, okay? And it causes a rapid growth of algae. So here the problem is with this super rapid growth of algae, you have a couple different attributes to. One, it can clog up waterways, right? So you don't get that flow. It can attribute to worse flooding. The other thing is it'll block out sunlight for things that are aquatic life that needs sunlight deeper down. And 2, this rapid growth causes rapid death. And in that decay, it takes oxygen from the water to decay properly. So you get aquatic hypoxia, which is basically, you know, no oxygen in the water. So things literally suffocate where they're at, so you get these aquatic dead zones. Yeah. It's a big thing in the Gulf. It's a big thing. We get these canals and stuff and say, well, people, it's just the heat. When it does get hotter, water holds less oxygen already. So then we add eutrophication to the mix and we compound it.
Okay, so it's 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, right? So you take out the oxygen, the water is just going to be hydrogen, and so like water goes away, right? And so that's why it's, I don't know.
No. Like you do have like just oxygen, right? Like O2
Okay.
in the water, right? And so there's just less available, like, essentially breathable oxygen, because like aquatic life needs to breathe just like us. They just do it through a different function. And so you take that out of the equation. I'm not going to say that it makes it just hydrogen. That's not really how that works.
That's my science. I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to it. Either way, we want to do what's good and best for the environment, or we at least should want to. And that can start as, at your house. Like you say, what'd you call it? A micro
ecosystem. That contributes to the macro ecosystem. So like kind of to bring it back to the Clear Creek, right? Clear Creek is the largest body of water between Galveston County and Harris County of its kind, where you have kayaking, fishing. You can even do larger recreation like boating in this body of water, right? There's all kinds of, and so, it's like up to us to protect this. And one of the ways that we protect it is simply by what we do at home. Because all these hundreds of thousands of people, you get a heavy rain, boom, where's it going? The creek.
Yeah. And then if there's like erosion and all that stuff, what'd you call it?
Eutrophication.
Eutrophication.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, let's remind people one more time what's going on this weekend and how can they get involved? What do they need to do?
So this weekend, the 23rd annual Clear Creek Cleanup. Show up at 9 o'clock. The 270 boat ramp, otherwise known as Egret Bay. If you can, come with PPs, rubber boots. If you can't, we will provide them. And we will get out in the water. We're going to go clean up some trash. We're going to go clean up the creek. All right, so come get trashy with us, y'all.
So it's going to be do y'all have fun? It seems like it can be fun, too.
Oh, man, we have a blast. We see eagles out there. We see, some people who have never been out on boats and not really been out in a natural setting get to see things from a perspective that you've never get to seen it before. Because when you're out there on the creek, it's way different than just driving over the bridge.
Yes.
Right? And you see stuff from a completely different perspective. I love it. In the mornings, when it's still sometimes got overcast and everything, and you see these birds out there chilling, it just gives you like a whole different look on like the other life that surrounds us.
Yeah. Hey, here's a comment I want to read. This is from Alana. She serves on one of the boards and the commissions here in Lamarck, and their job is keeping and making Lamarck beautiful, and that starts with the lawns and all that stuff. So she said, I'm really glad that he is having this conversation with you about specific things that run off into the water system, because most people don't know that everything you put in your lawns or in their garden runs off into the water somewhere at some point, and it can severely damage the ecosystems that we have. And one thing about Alana's yard is the backyard is cool. So she has some chickens back there, and she has a garden. I can't remember the name. It's like Moon. She has a name and has a Facebook page, like maybe Moon something Gardens. And one of the goals that I believe that she has is to be able to have that a certified natural butterfly habitat.
Yeah.
And there's another gentleman in Lamarck, and his is a certified natural butterfly habitat. And I remember one time they go and award these, like, hey, it's the yard of the month in Lamarck, and Alana gets to help pick that. And people were like, that yard doesn't look my ideal of what beautiful is. It looks overgrown, but it's the natural beautiful. And there was butterflies all around there and stuff. And so it was just really cool. And I guess the perspective of what people consider, like, I want my grass to be super green and taking care of the environment in its natural way.
And we can have both, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We can have both, right?
Yeah.
I help people achieve it all the time. My process is even becoming even more effective, right? And the other thing about going back to like the eutrophication and waterways and stuff like that is when you use a natural approach, part of what attributes to that when you use chemicals is leaching. Stuff leaches out and goes into our water table, or what happens all the time. God, please help people to quit doing this. Oh, I just fertilized my lawn right before it rains. Great. Not cool, dudes.
Yeah. It doesn't even have time to go in there, just run off.
Well, because they're doing that, and I understand kind of like the first, thought of it is, well, then I don't have to water my lawn.
Yeah.
Right? But dudes, I'm straight up here to tell you, if you're using a weed and feed or a chemical fertilizer, number one, you just stay away from it. Okay, if it says it handles something like 3-in-1, run. Okay, I fix more 3-in-1 lawns than I could shake a stick at.
3-in-1, then run. That's good. I'm writing that down.
Yeah,
y'all need to remember that. Write that down if you have 3-in-1.
Okay,
run.
so here's a good one.
Okay.
I like to say this all the time.
All right.
If it's an insecticide, fungicide, herbicide, miticide, if it says aside, set it aside. Okay, because we ain't trying to commit like biological genocide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You may have to release an album. That was if I just like threw a beat behind that. Do I have one? I don't know if I have. I used to at some point, but I don't think I have one. I'm gonna have to keep one on hand, like the KHEA beat or something. But man, so okay. Remind people one more time. So this weekend, 9 o'clock, they can go meet up and help clean Clear Creek. If you want to find out more information, go to Clear Creek Environmental Foundation. Visit them on Facebook. If you're watching on social media right now, then you can see there's a phone number to call as well, and you can get hooked up with that. AJ, is there anything else you'd like to share at all this morning?
Support soil biology. Get out there and help us with the cleanup. We need your help. We do need more volunteers. And we need some people who are going to be there consistently on the weekends, because we definitely need to get some new people into our foundation to move forward. We need some new hands on deck.
Yeah.
Right? And even if you're like something that would drastically help us with Clear Creek Environmental Foundation is even if you got like a skill set of social media content posting, right? Because I have to deal with my fertilizing business, and I do a lot with that. And so I get a little stretched, right? So we need a little bit younger blood in the foundation to come in who has, some different skill sets to help us stay in the public eye. And one of the things I would love to see happen here in the future is like constant ways to, educate people on what's around us. Because we got it's like 240 acres or something that surrounds Clear Creek. It's like 41 miles long. It's a huge area. There's so much to learn about it with birds, reptiles, the different ways it impacts our ecosystem and the different ways we impact that ecosystem, and even the economic benefits. Right? Something that people don't really think of because we think about nature and stuff. Well, let's get real. Lots of things revolving around money, right? So, fishing is a big deal. Recreation is a big deal. So it can have a huge positive impact on our local economy. And we want to keep that healthy. So that's a natural attraction, because one of the biggest things that happens on a year-round basis is tons of people travel to go look at birds. I never knew this until I started learning a little more about it.
Yeah.
That's such a big deal. So let's keep a healthy habitat for our birds so we can attract more bird watchers, man.
I love it. I love it. Hey, thank you for hanging out this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me, Gardy.
Of course. You're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
This is KHEA Radio, 99.5 FM. All right, social media, y'all be blessed. Make sure you go check out Hippie Fertilizing on Facebook, like the business, share this video out, and then get involved this weekend. Click on the description in this video, and then you'll be